All right. Yeah, we're live. All right. All of you freedom loving boys and girls, wherever you are, whomever you are, welcome to Centerline Systems. This is a load out live episode. And as you can see on the screen right now, the man, the myth, the legend, Gimli, AKA how many clowns can fit in a clown car, the accessorizer. So tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about the Sherpa Belt and the Y harness. Before we jump into it, though, I've got a little bit of housekeeping, AKA fluff. All right, so here we go. Starting the housekeeping. In my hands, these are my list of all the products. Like I said, we've got the TAT 25 sale that ends tonight. We'll be changing things up on the website tomorrow morning. Now, maybe I am pushing people to take care of it tonight, but I'm just going to warn you. Like, I don't know when I'm going to be on the computer tomorrow, right? It's just every day is different. You know, you got a million hats to wear. And but sometime tomorrow, the prices are going to change. But I'm doing something a little different on the prices. I'm trying to look, times are tough for everybody, and I'm sure if you've seen me doing some of these Epstein file, some people left comments like, hey, I get it, but that's low on my list of priorities, the Epstein files. I personally think the other way around. I think if we don't solve the big problems, none of the smaller problems are going to get resolved. The economy is going to take time, no matter what. No matter what happens, the economy is going to take hold on, hands inside the ride. It isn't going to happen overnight. So against all the people out there with business degrees, the prices are going to change, but they're still going to be lower than where they were, just simply because, again, hey, eggs are coming down. Great. They're still $8 a dozen, shit's still expensive out there. So just stay tuned. That's all I'm trying to say. Because sometime tomorrow, I'll be over on the computer and I'll be changing the prices. My other little housekeeping notes. Thursday's CLS After Dark is going to be fun. The topic is going to be the light fighter concept. And I got Redbeard coming on and a special guest coming on who's never been on the lives, any of the lives before. Met him. He's a customer. He's, one of us, right? And we're just going to have kind of a great conversation talking about what does that really mean? How do you use gear? What is your mindset? So it's going to be kind of a gear CLS After Dark, but it's going to be revolving around the light fighter concept, right? And then next week for loadout, it's going to be just me. I'm going to talk about the belt and the utility pouches because I've been having a bunch of questions recently and what's really the difference. So that'll just be a me conversation next Monday. I know we don't have any special guests next Monday. And then the following CLS After Dark, the 27th of March, that's going to be a good one. That's going to be about the VA. And I actually have to make a phone call to the White House line tomorrow about the VA because that shit still ain't getting any better. That is just a broken system. So that's what we got. Oh, and then one other last bit of housekeeping. Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. Got green. I got a green hat on. Yeah, we got John's wearing green. And you know what else looks good in green? Nemesis camo, boys and girls. Nothing says Happy St. Patty's Day like some Nemesis camo. That's up on the website right now. Just finished getting some of that stuff done today. That's my housekeeping, John. You want to say hi to everybody and just in case somebody hasn't seen you on a previous episode. And then I'm going to go over to the chat, read some comments, and then we'll jump into it.
What's up, CLS gang? Y'all know me. I'm Gimli the Accessorizer. AKA John, or is it the other way around? So thanks for tuning in. If you don't know me, I'm avid outdoorsman, father of two boys, 12 and 14, and I try to get them away from the video games as much as possible, hunting, fishing, and loving it every day kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Rock and roll. And we do have a bunch of pictures. So as we go over the Sherpa Belt and the Y harness, John actually sent me a bunch of photos of him using it out in the field and some different loadout stuff. Now, and then we'll just see, we'll probably do the camera down. John shows everything off. We'll do that. We'll get to that, but we've also got some photos. And matter of fact, how about this, John? How about I'll read some comments in the chat. I'll bring the slide deck up. You can kind of talk us through what we're looking at there. And then we'll go down into the actual loadout part of it. Sound good?
Sound good.
All right. Here's what we got. We got Gene across the pond. Big woo. And Snowshoe checking in from Michigan. Good to see you, sir. Hennerbin from Minnesota checking in. the Husky Bunch. What's up from northern Minnesota? Like, yeah, we got Minnesotans representing here today. Learn me something with a big John is back. Hello, gentlemen. Tuning in from the rotten city of Gotham. And then Gene just saying good evening, Mark and Gimli. And hey, we got Phil checking in here too over on Twitter or X, excuse me. Got my Gap pouches today, so it was an awesome morning. Well, that is an awesome morning. Winter chicken dinner or Merry Christmas, however you want to say it. But Phil, glad you got those things. And good to see you over here on X. I know, just on a weird little note there, there's a bunch of pretty big names who aren't doing anything on ScrewTube anymore. They just, went exclusively over to like X and Rumble. And, I know we're all over here on most people watch this. They're watching on ScrewTube, but, hey, if you're willing to do it, watch it on Rumble or X. We got to start making our voices heard, and the censorship is real. All right. On that note, I think that's all I got for right now. You ready just to do the slide deck?
Yeah. So, let's do the one that I'm wearing a green hoodie on. That was my first loadout.
Well, here, let me just bring it to the stage. And so just how I have it set up, this is the first one right here. So,
all right. So this is the second configuration that I've done with this. So the intent of this kit, which is a Sherpa Belt and a Y harness, is for small games hunting. Okay. This is me rabbit hunting. And just so you know, I'm wearing that Centerline System hoodie under a quarter, like a Briar quarter zip. On this day, it was 8 degrees. I have no neck gaiter or nothing on because that hoodie covers everything. And I was sweating. Now, it was clear day, no breeze, anything like that. So that's just a quick note. So I'm getting ready I will show you guys the loadout, how I have it configured in this picture. That's what I end up sticking with because you're going to see once we get into earlier pictures, I kind of went crazy and everything that I had was coyote brown. I put on it and it turned into deuce gear. If you guys are familiar with what deuce gear is, it's kind of like the webbing system Marine Corps used before, like the LBV or LBE or something like that. It was more like a vest instead of a web belt with a Y harness. So you can go ahead and flip.
Well, I have to do two things first. Yeah, deuce gear, that was just your load bearing equipment, your LBE. That's what, we never in the Army, we didn't call it that, but that's what it was before you went into vests and everything. But I do have to pop this up right here. Gene says, geez, I didn't know they made a pew wider than Gimli. Come on, man. I had to throw that out there. It's St. Patty's Day. That was pretty good job, Gene. But that is really cool how you have that strapped in there. And
if you look on my top left-hand corner of my shoulder.
Here. Let me just hang on. Give me a second. Let me just go full screen here. So, okay, there you go.
So that's actually a padded strap wrap with one of Mark's shoulder straps. The sheath for the shotgun I bought at a local gun shop. It's probably Chinese crap, but it is actually not like mollied into anything. It's on my shoulder and I just flip it around and it sat right on top of the G3 roll and it just stays there. If you adjust your shoulder strap accordingly. And it's not like it's crazy tight or anything like that. So I can literally just grab behind my back, flip it around. And it's almost like a golf bag at that point. Pull the gun out and you're ready to rock and roll.
I could see how you could just reach back with your right hand and just grab the buttstock and just pull it out that way too.
Yeah, but the whole thing will actually come out. It's just sitting on top of the G3 roll.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, here we go. Next slide. So we got, I think, you want to go there or which one you went first? This one?
Go to the next one. So real quick, like I said, I got the thing in the mail and I was like, ooh, everything I have Coyote Brown is going to go on this thing. So this is kind of like more of a tactical role or tactical setup. Canteen carrier with the mother. I got the Scout Battle carrier with a Yeti on it, G3. If you look, you can see the handles for the shears. That is the medical deployment pouch. And then I have a couple of the utility pouches, and there'll be a belt pouch in here. So I will get into that. I'll get into all that. So if you want to
in this view, you can see going up around your left front side, then you can see where the med pouch is.
Yeah. Now this is the current configuration I have right now. So you can see I took the the canteen carrier off because I didn't want to have to take this thing off or have somebody get my water out. And I have the Scout configured in a horizontal position with just a quart bottle, titanium bottle in it. And that's what we'll rip into when I pull it down and show you everything that's in this thing.
Okay. Yeah. So now from the opposite side, so you can see how he's got that Scout set up in a horizontal carry.
Yeah. And then you can see the belt pouch, right? And then you can see I have the folding saw pouch mounted into the Scout bottle carrier on the top. And that's going to have a knife and a folding saw in it.
All right. And then that's kind of just a front view. I think that's the last of the pictures. Well, there's kind of just another. Yeah, that's it right there. So where you can kind of see he's got the belt pouch kind of sandwich in there, but you can see a little bit more of the gear. So what do you think? Is that kind of doing it for the?
Yeah, I think we can just start unloading this thing.
Okay, hang on. Before we do, we got a comment. Gene just asked a good question, and Gene's kind of stealing a little bit of thunder here, but he's asking, what do you guys think is best, a Y harness, for a belt rig, an H harness or a Y harness?
Why?
Before I turn it over to Gimli, when I was in the military, and you were talking about, again, your deuce gear, your LBE, right? Your load bearing equipment, your load carrying equipment, is just a belt with suspenders. But sometimes, if you were lucky, depending on when you came in and what unit, H harnesses were still around, right? And that was still a thing. I kind of want to throw that out there for people in the comments here. Now, we're working on the skeleton chassis. If you're over in the group chat, you've seen some stuff, over on Telegram. Matter of fact, I shot a video yesterday, and I'll probably post that tomorrow in the group chat, kind of showing a little bit of the skeleton chassis off. But for me, John, before I turn it over to you, I did the Y harness just to help, because all that weight is on the belt. And at the end of the day, I just wanted to give the ability to transfer some of that weight up to your shoulders, right? Because that's kind of, in my humble opinion, that just really helps a lot. Get some of that off your waistline. Whether it's a Y harness or an H harness, to me really is irrelevant, but I know an H harness also gives another point of contact. So just for everybody, as I turn it over to John for his thoughts, I am thinking about, because I'm going here, I can just give you the sneak, inside baseball. I'm going to have to tweak the Y harness because of what I want to do with the skeleton chassis and how, and for compatibility issues. And if I do that, I'm like, well, maybe I should do an H harness instead of a Y harness. Or maybe I'll have a Y harness, an H harness, and then the skeleton chassis. And, you guys, get what you want to get. So good question there, John. Stay tuned on that. Now, and that's, I'm sorry, Gene. Now, John, coming back over to you.
So, Gene, to answer your question, I would take a Y harness over an H simply for the fact that you got your battle rig set up. And then when you put an Alice pack on with a frame, that Y harness kind of goes down the center of your back, and it's not rubbing on the pack frame. So I hope that answers your question.
Well, and a little bit more too, because an H harness will push the webbing a little bit off to the sides, closer onto your scapula, your bones back there. And then, it's not running down your spine where your ruck isn't kind of rubbing into, but now it's kind of going off to the periphery, and there's a chance that part of your ruck can rub against it. So that's just kind of a personal issue right there.
Things have changed. I mean, when I was first in the Marine Corps, we didn't have body armor with sappy plates and all that kind of stuff. We had the old, Vietnam era, Kevlar frag vest over, right?
Yeah, the flak vest. Yep.
Yeah. So now that, and when I went to Iraq the first time, they're like, all right, throw this shit away. We got this mop gear, or the Molly gear that came out instead of Alice, and we had the plate carriers and stuff. I would rather have everything on my plate carrier. Matter of fact, you guys can see my plate carrier back there. I have everything on it. So I'm not wearing anything underneath of it except for clothes. I'm not wearing anything over top of it because the ruck and the meat bag go on the back of it. So, but I digress. Well, that's another conversation for another day.
Well, Gene says, thanks for that comment. And then we got Dan checking in saying, hey guys, and then he's going to be watching really closely for ideas. So on that note right there, thanks for joining in here, Dan. So why don't we do it there, John? Kind of our little way we've been doing it. Get your camera set up and we'll look down.
So first, we'll start with the Y harness. Okay, so remember the intent of this is squirrel and rabbit hunting. I have beagles with GPS collars on them. So this is the control to beep them to come back, right? this is a cool little product. This is called Outdoor Element makes it. It's called a fire beaner. So this holds my winter gloves. And then you have I don't know if you can see that. You got a way to start an alcohol stove, or if you really need to, if you have the right tinder, you can start a fire with that. Okay. Now here, these are all 20 gauge shells. Okay. You're going to see these are really loose in here. So if you're going to strictly go with the 20, I would just let Mark know, make them a little bit tighter. I have never had a problem with these falling out while I'm hunting. Okay.
Well, hey, I'm going to pause you right there. Boys and girls, those loops are made for 12 gauge, right?
Yes.
That it's a 12 gauge loop, right? That,
Yes.
If you're doing 410 or 16 or something else, or 20s, like, hey, I hate to say it, you're just, we're not going to redo it. Cause I mean, like John, you don't throw them, how tough that city would kill me. Hang on.
No,
if we did that, if we did that for 410s, like, oh my God, just it's so small and you're trying to sew it. Your presser foot can't even fit in those, so yeah, we're just going to stick with 12 gauge.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus, but it does work. I mean, look, I shake it. They'll start coming out. So in the back of the truck, I've had a couple times where I grab this thing and a couple shells fall out. No big deal. But as I'm hunting and I'm running through briars and shit like that, they don't fall out. You just got to be mindful of it, is my point.
Yeah. Or you man up and step it up to a 12 gauge.
Well, that 12 gauge, there's not much of the rabbit left behind. That's why I like a 20. You know what I mean? All right. So I'm going to bring you guys back down here so we can get into this a little bit. We'll start with the front and the smallest.
All right. Give me a second. Let me bring you up full screen so people can see it. Give me a second. All right. There you go. You're full screen. It's all you.
Okay. So I know this, hopefully this shows up in camera because there's a lot going on. There's your buckle. Okay, so over here, I have two of the horizontal, the utility pouches, okay? In here, I have gloves for cleaning a rabbit. So for those that don't do a lot of rabbit hunting, you do not need a knife to clean a rabbit. You can gut it with your hands and skin it with your hands, no problem. All right, so over here, I have three of these. These are the County Com large tins, okay? This utility pouch holds two of them. Okay, so I used to have 4 beagles. I had to put my oldest one down last year. So I carry 3 tins of dog food, okay? And then gloves, or you could do 4 tins total, okay? Like if you want to do a fire kit or something like that, okay? So that's in the utility pouches. In the moving around, we have the medical deployment pouch. Me and Mark did a video. I'm not sure if it's up yet or not, but you can see all the crap that I carry in here besides what comes in it from Jack from Black Scout Survival. Okay. All right, moving on. We got the G3. This is
smoking rabbit. I see a smoking rabbit patch.
Yeah, you got me. I got 3 of them, Mark, after I seen it's Mark, right? The other Mark.
Yeah, that's the other Mark. Yep.
Yep. I got 3 of those patches. I had to put them on your gear. All right. So remember, the intent of this is to go rabbit or squirrel hunting. I'm rarely more than a couple miles from my truck. But in the case I twist an ankle, break a leg, something like that, I need to, spend the night in the woods before somebody saves me. This is a shelter kit. Okay. So in all my shelter kits, I carry schmog. Multiple uses for that thing. I'm sure everybody knows that. Road flare to start a fire.
Or the emergency signal.
Yep. And here I have a key DC, which you guys have seen the fire kits that I make out of the key DCs. Okay. I would go back to one of the ruck videos and I break that apart. Or actually, I think the EDO video, I broke one of those apart. This is a reflective bivvy. So it's like a sleeping bag, but it's got like the emergency blanket material inside of it.
Yeah.
So because I figure most of the time rabbit hunting in Ohio, you're going to be hunting in some cold weather. Okay. So it's not a sleeping bag, but it'll save your life. Okay. All right. So that's all that's in that pouch. And here we have a County Com. This is a smaller tin. Okay. This is my repair kit. In here, I got a rip spool, which is duct tape, thread, and there's a needle. in this thing.
Is that the Exotech?
Yes, the Exotech rip spool. These things are awesome. I have 3 or 4 of them in my kits. Okay. So there's a repair. And then I got a lighter in here for like burning the bank line, or because this is like, I think this is number 12 bank line. So if you get number 36 bank line, it's like 3 of these threads twisted together. So that's my little repair kit. And here I got another. If you guys can't tell, I'm a huge County Com fan. Thanks, Mark. You've
somebody
got him some business because I've spent a lot of money since I
somebody
those guys out.
Somebody did that shit to me too. So you got to share the wealth, right?
Just in case he's watching, Mark, Buckeye Bushcraft. Never seen that shit. I was talking to him a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "Dude, you don't know about that website?" And he pulled it up. He's like, "Oh no, I'm about to start spending some money."
Yep, it is. Do not visit County Com if unless you are prepared to spend a couple bucks.
Which I mean, honestly, these things are. I mean, these things do not bend. I think they're like $8 a piece.
And they've got really good dividers and organizing. Yes. They got so much good stuff over there.
Yeah. So I got a headlamp in here. All right. And then in the last pouch of the G3, I have an orange military poncho. So this is a giant signaling panel. You can use it as a Ranger roll. My intent is to use it for a lean-to or an A-frame shelter. Okay. More than likely, it'll probably end up being a browse bed because in the very bottom of here, I have a T60. If you guys, this is a 5x7 tarp. Okay. I don't know if it's made in America. It's an American company. The guy that owns it, he's out of Pennsylvania. He was on, I think, the 2nd or 3rd season of Alone. It's got the cordage in it already. There's literally it's marine proof. You do a shoelace tie around 2 trees, and then you fan this thing out in a lean-to shelter, 2 tent stakes, and now you have a 5x7 shelter. If I needed 2 shelters because one of my boys or my dogs, I can use this, or I can fill it up, snap it up like a tube and fill it up with a bunch of leaves and dead grass, and there's my mattress. Okay. All right. So that's the G3. All right. Now to finish up.
Okay. No, hang on. Just stop right there. If you don't mind, we'll pause right there. Bring the camera up just a little bit. We got a couple questions coming in. So we got to get to that. So we had Greg just chimed in and said hi. We got Hunter 1776 saying hi. Hey, thanks for coming over here, Hunter. And then we got Gene giving you a hard time. Love the County Com, easy done. But yeah. Then and then I'm going to get to Dan's question in a second. But Gene wants to know, what do you use when you have to signal Gandalf?
I crack open. I go like this, like the Bush commercials. Bush. Gandalf loves the bush.
All right. And then now here's a serious question before we go any further. Dan, and I saw it the first time, Dan, we're just, letting, Gimli have his flow. So he wants to know if you can attach the ruck to the harness or do you wear it over the harness? So the ruck is not designed specifically to attach to the Y harness. Now, if I go down the road and I make an H harness, that I will, then I'll make it so that is attachable. However, you could attach the ruck up to the H harness, because if you saw in the pictures and when we get there, it's a Y. So the pads, the straps are coming over your shoulders, and whether you just run just the H harness or if you put the padded strap wrap, you've got those 1-inch loops. So there is a way that you could make that attachment. Or if you use some of those, and I always screw up because I'm just not very familiar with them. I've never really used them, but it's like the come on, John. I think, what's that?
Malice clips.
Malice clips. Yep, you could do a malice clip. Yeah, so there's ways you can do it. But to your point right there, Dan, I would probably just wear it right over the top of the Y harness.
And that's why I told you I like a Y harness better, because that ruck, you're not going to feel that. This you're not going to feel this under that ruck.
Yeah,
it's super flexible material. It's not like the stuff you see in the service that got baked in the sun for a decade and you fold it and it leaves the crease. I mean, this stuff is super pliable. You know what I mean? I mean, it's badass material.
Yeah.
Mark, you know that.
Yeah. So that's a mil spec. That's a 17.337 1-inch right there. But Dan, I hope that answered your question. There are ways you could do it. If we go down the road of an H harness, it would be easier. You could attach it to the Y harness, but John's point and my point, as well. I don't think that would be the way you would want to roll. Now, on that note, if you're running an H harness or a Y harness with padded strap wraps, now the ruck, that strap that comes over, that's kind of like a padded strap wrap as well. It can open up and it's got all that padding. If I was doing that, I would run the Y harness without the padded strap wrap. And then, because you don't want pads over on top of pads. Yeah. That's something that has always annoyed me, from my cool guy days as well. So just a little, you do you, but yeah. I would not wear the Y harness with padded strap wraps if I was going to throw the rucksack over on it. John, do you have experience in that? What are your thoughts?
Honestly, what my thoughts would be is you take your padded strap wraps, instead of using the Y harness, or instead of using the straps from the ruck, take those off, run these straps through the padded strap wraps from the ruck, and then you just have this going down to your belt. And now it's a uniform system.
Yeah.
So you could permanently attach the ruck, or I don't think.
Oh no, hang on. Just slow down. What he's saying there, boys, is because those
right here. Like if this is my shoulder, you attach the ruck here, but run the straps through there, right?
Yeah, and then run that. Yeah, or you could then run the, if it was just the Y harness, you technically could run that up inside of the pad as well. Yeah. So and marry the pad over.
What I think what you would do is probably carabiner this to the handle on the top of the ruck, right? Just
or the first layer of molly down on the ruck. Yep.
And I would say people don't give the meat bag enough credit. I have the meat bag on my plate carrier, and you can fit a lot of shit in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, think about how much stuff the belt holds. Do you need a 17 or 20 liter ruck? I mean, the meat bag is lighter and it'll hold a lot of shit. And you can use it as a hydration bladder. And then you have enough room. I mean, you could if you wanted to use like one of those Arcturus, like hard shell emergency blankets, you could fit that in there with a bunch of other stuff, food, whatever. Right.
Yeah. There are definitely options to include. You could put chasm buckles up there on the very back of the Y harness with the opening facing down. We don't have a specific strap for that, but if you wanted me to rig up a male, short strap, then you could plug it in there up on the Y harness. Yeah. So there's all kinds of different ways to do it. But I think the bottom line though, is the comfort ability of a Y harness with a rucksack on, just run it on top of it, have fun, mess around and see if you can, configure it. Again, John and I are just talking about a way. There's a couple other different, connection
ways to get.
Yeah. But my only real thing there would be, I wouldn't advise, this is just me. I don't like straps over straps over straps. So, you're wearing plate carrier and then this and then this and this, that always bummed me out. So like the Thor system, the rucksack was designed to plug into the back of the Thor system. So you didn't have another set of straps going over your plate carrier or your other, your weapons sling or, binos, all that kind of stuff. So that would be my only thing, Dan.
Here's an idea too. Instead of running, if you just wore the wire harness without padded strap wraps, how your ruck, how you have the chasm buckles so you can quick detach and the bag falls off. So let's say you don't have the padded strap wrap. The shoulder strap has these loops too. Maybe you could put the male part of your chasm buckle here and then snap in the padded strap wrap. I don't know how that would work. You'd have to play around with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, when it comes to Mark's gear, you could go down a rabbit hole, and like I do all the time. That's why I'm good at shoving the clowns back in the car.
And just on that note, before we get back into it, I still got to talk to Mark, Valley Reb. I really do want to make another hoodie, saying, something about, embrace the rabbit hole, but for the rabbit hole or something to have his rabbit logo
going in,
kind of thing. Yeah. So I'd like to make that good.
I like that, cool. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. But that's the whole point, do go that way. And then last comment, and then we'll get back over to you there, John. Gene says, or wait for the skeleton chassis. Well, boys and girls, but I'm a small business owner, and we got to take our turn in line just like anyone else. So, we didn't get as far along as I was hoping on the first iteration. Actually, we did get pretty far along, but now I've seen 3 little areas for improvement, and I got to redo that and start from there. So stay tuned. We're on it, but this isn't some giant, Amazon, giant warehousey store, where I've got a whole bunch of slave labor, on their side of this wall, chained to their sewing machine. So it takes a little time. Just bear with us. But thanks, Gene. All right, John, let's go back. You were just kind of moving. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Real quick. Last thing I forgot on the G3.
All right. Hey, I'm going to bring you up full screen here.
So
there you go.
I have this 5-inch stainless steel, laundry pin. Okay. I have a couple keepers around here. So what this is for is on the back of the rabbit's leg, squirrel's legs, where that Achilles heel is. You just pop that through the tendon, and then I put it up through a keeper, and then look like Johnny Badass walking around the woods with like 4 rabbits hanging from my belt. Okay. This, like I said, the intent for this was to replace the large cumbersome orange heavy winter coat where you're just stuffing your pheasants and your rabbits back in a pouch. So like I bought a pack of 10 of these on Amazon for cheap, stainless steel. Okay. Now this would be to my right side. Next is a belt kit.
Hey, do you want to bring it back down the angle and you have it on the table, or do you want to do it?
Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. Okay.
How's that? Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So my belt kit, if you guys can tell by the pouch what that's for, it's just a simple poop kit. Okay. Got a bunch of single serving uses of Perel in here and some dude wipes. A bunch of those in there. I got some toothpaste in here in case I didn't feel like brushing my teeth before I went. And then if it gets really messy, these are those compressible towels that you soak in water and it turns into a big paper towel. Okay. So that's the poop kit. All right. Now for the Scout bottle carrier in the horizontal configuration, I don't know if anybody's ever run this on a belt. It works fantastic. I can, literally without looking down, pop it out. The water bottle comes out. I drink out of it. Since I have a cup and stove in here, it slides in super easy and don't have to take the thing off like you would if it was traditional, like set up like the first pictures I showed where they were in the back next to the G3 roll. On the bottom of this, I just have a flashlight pouch that I had laying around. In here are the Yuko Titan XD Stormproof matches, which I'm sure you've heard me and Mark talk about these before. These things are made out of fat wood. You can light them, dunk them in water, pull them out, and they will catch back on fire. They are outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is on the bottom side of the Scout bottle carrier. I think County Com needs to send us a check because we're so in here. I have 4 of these tubes from County Com. Okay. Oh, Redbeard's gonna love me for this one. So this is dehydrated whole milk. This is super bad for you, super high in sugar, hot chocolate. This is wild rice. And then this is dried kidney beans, northern beans, black beans, lentils, and a bunch of seasoning. I think it's called whoop ass or ass kicking seasoning. I like to taste my food. So super hot seasoning, salt, everything goes in there.
That's not Slap Yo Mama seasoning, is it?
No, it's from Ohio. The name of the ranch is called Shit Kicking Ranch. And they got ass kicking, badass. I mean, they got all different types of, all different names. Okay. All right. So, and then last in that pouch with my food is a plastic fork. This one, I think this is a jet boil, foldable, telescoping fork. Okay. All right. So now you go to the top side. So this thing, is sitting like this on the outside of my hip. On the inside of the folding saw pouch, I have actually, it might be better to take the knife out first. Okay, so slid back in here, I have a Mora knife. Okay. There is a sheath in there. The knife comes out.
So just hang on 1 second. Yeah. So boys and girls, he has that secured in the axe handle sleeve on the back side of the folding saw pouch.
Yes.
That's pretty clever how you just did that. And if you don't mind, and just show, because you use that lanyard to loop it back over on itself to hold it in place. Yep. And because that's a nice little technique a lot of people don't know about. Can you show that off real quickly?
Yep. So we're going to slide this in. And then I'll take this up over the folding saw pouch. This is shock cord from Mark's hanging tags. It slides up against the molly in there, and you slide it down, and that thing is not coming out. Like, look how far I can pull that knife out. It's going to snap right back in.
Yep. That's a great technique. I'm glad to see that you were doing that. Good job, my good man.
Yep. I learned it from you. So watching your videos, I don't even think you ever told me. I just seen the trick, and I was, ooh, I like that. So this is, like I said, this is a Mora cans ball, I think is what it's called. I do not use this for cleaning rabbits. If you guys have rabbit hunted long enough, like literally you just grab them by the neck, work your hands down, and everything shoots out of the belly. So this is more for processing firewood. This does have a small ferro rod in it, which is a nice, backup. It's hidden in there. And then once you get that out, then I can get my folding saw out. So I have a way to process firewood with a fixed blade knife and a saw.
And was that a Baco Laplander?
Yes, sir. So I like silky saws, but the intent of this kit is to work in very cold weather. And I've read online and heard a lot of guys snap off silky saws when it gets really cold. And then I've also read and seen instructors at survival schools I've been to bend this sucker like almost in half, and then just bend it back and continue cutting. And this is a very, very cheap saw. So that's why I put it in here for cold weather. Like I said, the temperature I got with this was 8 degrees. All right. So last little bit, I have a Keith quart bottle in there, titanium. These are kind of a pain in the butt to get in and out of, but remember, the only time you're taking this out is when you're cooking lunch or, shit hit the fan. I don't know if you can see me trying to get the cup out. All right, so there's your cup. I also have a lid for the cup, so there's your cooking pot. And then let's see if I can actually get this sucker out. You guys might have to take my word for it. There is a wood stove that came with that kit that goes together. And now you don't have to worry about, if you live in drier climates, catching.
Holy shit. That had that thing fit inside there?
Yeah. So this
no wonder that was kind of a pain in the ass. Holy smokes, man.
Yep. So that nests in there. This is the bottom of it. You got to play around with it. That kind of goes in the bottom to hold your wood. And then this goes in the top, or it might be vice versa. I think it's this one's vice versa. It like kind of indexes in there, keys in there. I'm one off. But you guys get the point. So this is I think the correct term is a bio stove. So there's your stove. Put twigs in there. If you ran out of water, you notice how I don't have a filter in here. If it is below freezing, I'm going titanium. If it's above freezing, I'm going to go with a Grail water filter, which you guys have seen me do. But we can cook our food in there, and we can boil a quart of water in here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all I got in there. I know there's not that much, but
that's all. That's all he says. Again, I'm almost wondering, and boys and girls, don't be too, eager on this. But, John, I really think we should probably start putting together like a little gear list, when we're doing these, like, or honestly, just go back and watch the video again and slow down. but I think we need to start calling out all the different companies and the little brands because, because that was a lot of good stuff in there.
At least
but hang on, let me just finish real quickly. So, but the other thing is go watch all the other loadouts with John, because again, if you didn't know where those little towelettes came from, those compressed or some of the other stuff, we've gone over this a bunch of times. No excuse for not letting you know what it is. But if you really are curious, well, look and here, my last comment, John's really good at responding. If you have a comment, like after the video, or if you're watching on demand, hey, where did you get that one thing again? John will come on and he'll chime in, or if he doesn't, I'll say, hey, John, you got a question over there, on the latest video for you specifically. So, don't hesitate to do that. But man, that still is a lot of stuff and a belt kit around your waist, seriously.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. And definitely I will answer questions. I mean, that kind of gives me an idea, Mark, we should talk about later. Maybe we'll get an Amazon store going on, CLS Amazon store. Maybe you guys could be so kind to bump 1 or 2% towards Mark and these videos, because he does these for free, But real quick, going back to plugging other stuff, Dan Wowak, Cold Cracker Bushcraft. This thing is awesome. And it fits in that utility pouch, which on my plate carrier, I have one of these utility pouches attached to the meat bag, a 5x7 shelter, which I think weighs like 6 ounces or something crazy. It fits in there.
Man.
It fits in there pretty nice. I mean, it's not like it's bulging out too much.
Well, I mean, do you really care if you had a 5x7 sil nylon and your belt pouch has a little bit of a bulge to it? Like, hey, sailor, are you happy to see me? Or do you have your own 5x7 tarp inside that pouch?
Well, and maybe you guys can do some research. This material is called xenon material. Somebody helped him develop it. I don't know if he developed it. I don't know. So, don't take my word. All I know is this is a badass shelter. You don't need to carry any cordage or anything. Well, the cordage, like I said, is in it.
And like you said, and it's marine proof. You did say that. You're just doing an overhand rod.
I don't even know how to tie my shoes, but I could figure it out in my life. So the reason it's called a T60 is because the average person can put it up in less than 60 seconds. So, and then I was watching, he's got a YouTube channel. I was watching maybe a month ago. He had one of these that they have been using in his bushcraft school and survival schools for years, and it still held up. So it's not like it's a one and done, which and I assume he designed it that way because this thing is like $75-$80. But I'm telling you what, I have one of these in the first aid kit that's in my truck.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And that's, again, buy once, cry once. That's definitely would be worth the money. I have a 5x7 sil nylon. So that's where I was really surprised that boys and girls, I just said sil nylon out of habit. You said that's actually out of a different material.
Yeah, it's called xenon.
Yeah,
XENON, I think is how it's spelled.
So, but because a sil nylon, I don't think I could. Anyway, it's just impressive. That's all I got to say. So there are some lightweight materials out there, and it's worth it to have it in that pinch. Better to have and not.
Well, honestly, you can fit 4 of these in that G3 roll. If you didn't have a poncho and this bivy that I have, you could literally. I'm pretty sure I had this and that in one of the flaps of the G3, and then I had this and something else in there. I think my fire kit. But you could easily fit 4 of these in there. So you're going on a day hike with your wife and 2 kids. And you literally just have a Sherpa belt with a G3 roll on this. You have shelter for everybody. You got a container with a little bit of food with you. You're prepared.
Hey, we had a question that came in. I'm going to pop it up. I think it's probably too late now. Learn me something. Sorry. But John, unless you already know it, what was the weight on all of that?
I did not weigh this. I will, when I pack all this stuff together tonight, I will weigh it and I will post it in the comments.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, appreciate that.
I
Yeah.
can guarantee you it's less than the rock. If I had to guess with a bottle of water, I'd be surprised if it's more than 10 pounds.
Well, leave the wet weight out, the water, right? Because that's
just dry weight.
Yeah, just do your dry weight, and that's going to include the
little bit of food. you know, a little bit of fun.
And we'll get back to that. I wanted to come back, and don't forget, you know, the buckle on the Sherpa belt is a 1.75 inch. That's a 1.75 inch webbing. You know, this isn't like, you know, a plastic lightweight. So a lot of the weight John's going to be probably giving you has to do probably more of the weight of the belt, and, you know, because the belt, I mean, I don't even remember what it is off the top of my head. I haven't, you know, really weighed it. I can't remember if I have that on the website or not. Maybe I'll look into that too and post that up on there. But, you know, most of your weight.
DP's got a little bit of weight because I got that thing loaded to the tilts.
Right on. Then we had, let's see here. Greg Sanderson's in the house. Thank you, Greg. I'll just wait and watch until my therapy is over. Then I'll be able to travel again. We'll get better and get out there and get on it. I'm right there with you, my good man. So want this year to turn the corner and for me to get back out there and start doing stuff. So I hear you, brother. You know, therapy, and, you know, when this shit starts breaking down, you know, and especially if you're a little older, takes a little while to recover. Then we had Gene saying, now I need a Scout and a utility pouch. Well, of course, Gene.
Yeah, two of them.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, more than one. You need multiples. Hey, I want to go back to those County Com. So I just call them food tubes. And I love those. And I've got them in a little, like a cooler for when I'm just like doing stream fishing and stuff. Man, they are so versatile. You want to hold those up again because, you know, and it's, what is it? You know, it's like a BPA food rated tube. So it's, you know, you don't have to put food in there, but oils, hot sauce, coffee grounds, sugar.
Watertight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hold those bad boys up.
If you buy these, get multiple lids, because it's like a pop bottle. As soon as you take it, it's going to crack and it's going to leave the lip. So if you want to, so like you could buy 4 of these. They sell these lids in a pouch of 10 for like $1.75 or something like that. Matter of fact, I might.
No, if you got it, you do. If you don't, you don't. But yep. That's the bag with lids, and you can get them in blue. So that's what I do. I use orange for my dry goods, and I use blue for my wet goods. You know, so yep, yeah. So then I just organize them by tops, and then I just use blue painter's tape. You know, wrap a little bit on the outside, and then I can write down what I have in there in case it was like, you know, a little unknown. Like, is that hot sauce? Is that Texas Pete? Is it, you know, whatever you have? You know, most of the stuff you can see, but they're really good. Hey, now we got another question that just came in. Unless you want to do one more thing on those tubes.
All I was going to say is I tried to put beef jerky in these things. The inside of this is a lot smaller than you think. If I had to guess, the wall of this thing has got to be at least 3/16 to 1/4 inch thick. I seen a video where they took a Humvee and ran it over and it didn't break. So it works great for things like flour, sugar, hot cocoa, condensed milk, right? If you're going to go with beans, make sure they're small beans, because, like, you know, like those little, like a Slim Jim, if you cut a Slim Jim up in tiny little pieces, this thing would hold like maybe 1.5 Slim Jims, but it's holding a shitload of beans and rice because I put something small in there. I wouldn't go peanuts. I would go pistachios over peanuts, so to speak. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And rice, or like instant mashed potatoes, because you figure instant mashed potatoes ain't no different than dehydrated milk, you know. And then and think of protein powder or meal replacement shakes that you buy at GNC or whatever. I mean, that's a lot of calories you can hold in that little tube. Yeah. And it's watertight. That thing, that'll stay good in there for a very, very long time.
Yeah. And they're rated for that. And as to John's point, and that's why I'm glad you came back to the tubes. The inner dimension is much smaller than the outer. John, and that would have been close to my guess too. I would have probably put that at about a 3/16 of an inch wall right there. So yeah, you definitely lose a little bit on the inside, but that gives you so much strength and durability though. So it's worth doing it, you know?
Yep. And 4 of them fit perfect with a utensil in that front pouch of the Scout bottle carrier. And that's with, I mean, this, you can, I got little hands, but that's a decent sized bottle. I'd say that's probably about 3 inches in diameter, maybe 2.75. So even with this big ass bottle on that Scout carrier, you can put 4 of those in here. If you had a smaller bottle, like a 32-ounce bottle instead of, I think this one's 41, you could probably fit 5 or 6 of these in there.
Yeah. Just pick and choose your bottle. But, you know, I agree with you on the titanium. Now we have another question that came in from Dan. Now I can always bring up the slide deck again too, but Dan wants to know if you can put it back on for a reference. And he said it doesn't matter if it's not loaded or anything. He just kind of wants to see it on you, how you have it all set up again. But let me maybe
it's going to take me some time to get the clowns back in the car.
Yeah, let's just do this kind of here. So there you go, Dan. This is and John has said this was his older setup.
Yeah. Go to the one in the orange in your hoodie. There you go. Can you?
Yeah, it's not really going to be. Yeah, I can't zoom in on it. Yeah. But there you go. That's kind of what his rig is looking like. Again, I think it's this set right here. Yeah. So now this is his. This is what we were just messing with.
Yeah.
And there you
now,
can
real quick, Mark, for everybody that knows. So don't make fun of me. I'm 5'6 3/4, and I'm not giving up the 3/4. God damn it. All right. But I got a big beer belly. If you were a slim 5'6", you were going to have to get the smaller version of the Y harness, because when I put that on, if I want it at my belly button, I have to pull it all the way down to as small as it goes. If you want to ride it at your hips and let your gut hang out a little bit, then the regular, because I think, Mark, how does that come? Does that come in a small and a standard?
Standard and extra large.
Okay. So, I mean, there's not
my assumption is that a lot of people are going to be wearing this over at least a couple layers of clothes. Summertime, I get that, but for like the picture of you doing it out in the winter, right?
Well, and how many people are 5'6"? I mean,
and then that's the Sherpa belt. That's why the Sherpa belt has that overlong tongue on it, because I'm assuming you're going to need some even additional expansion, because you're not wearing it like a normal belt for your pants. You can, but it's designed to be on the outside of all your clothing, right? So you're going to want
that. That's not an issue. What I'm saying, if somebody comes in and they're a little Italian or an Irish guy like me and they're 5'4", that the height of the Y harness is going to be.
Yeah, but you have the extra large, whereas if you would have had the regular.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So the regular, as a matter of fact, and I think you and I talked about that once. If you need me to hook you up with a regular one, I can easily.
It fits me literally perfectly.
Okay. Well, Gene is glad to hear that.
Anyway, so hopefully not.
Gene's glad to hear that, because he says it looks like a perfect fit for us dwarfs. I'm 5'8".
Oh, that's tall in my book.
Well, okay. Hey, we're at 50 minutes. I think that's a great, as always, John just comes in here and just crushes it with how many clowns he gets in his clown car. I had a couple little things to show off, but I'll just do it real quickly. I'm not going to do a whole lot because John, covered most of it, but just something I want to point out, a few things. If you're not familiar with it, on the Sherpa belt itself, and his belt might show this better. So it's a 1.75 type 13 webbing over 500575 scuba. But if you can see right through here, it's 1-inch webbing sewn down the outside. So you can either attach your gear to the 1-inch webbing as Molly, or you can go over the whole belt. Like that thing's over the whole belt. That guy's through the Molly, right? So it gives you a whole bunch of different options on how you can attach it, how you want to wear it. And then, the attachment points, there's one in the back and two in the front. You got to put it on and figure out, I want these more center. I want these more to my 3 o'clock, or I want these a little bit more to my 2 o'clock. You just put it on and find out where it works best for you, and then just make it so, right? It's pretty simple. And then kind of like what I was just showing this off. So this is a chasm buckle I have up on my padded strap wrap, because I made a single point sling for my crossbow. So then I can just single point sling my crossbow in here and be hands free. So you could do that kind of on the reverse side if you wanted to, to add other things up on your back. And I've seen a bunch of people who've taken pictures. They've hooked their canteens up there, their G3s. Again, you do you, but it's really just more about getting that weight, some of that weight off of your hips and then up onto your shoulders to make it a more comfortable ride. And then my last thing, so, you can see on the website the colorways that we have for the material, the type 13 webbing for the belt, but then Coyote Brown buckle, and these are all Cerakoted by our good friends over at Fog Firearms. Coyote Brown buckle. I just found these. This is something I did for Jack from Black Scout Survival. I think 2 years ago, we did like a limited run of depressed red, and by you'll see what I'm saying in a second. And then we did a more specific one for the Marine Corps with the Marine Corps emblem. That one obviously appealed more to the Marines than this, but I do have a bunch of these red buckles, and it's distressed. So it's red. And then when they Cerakote it, they do a little technique, and it makes it look like it's got like fire charring, and there you can kind of see it. It's distressed. I just found these. So they're not on the website. I might put them up there, but if someone's interested, this is the buckle that could go on the EDCP belt or the Sherpa belt. And then one of my favorite colors that we did, and it was favorite for me, but not very many other people liked. And it's perfect that I end with this for St. Patty's Day. Because when Fog made this for me, Cerakote's a company, they have their colorways. This actually is now a colorway for Cerakote based on, but it's something that Fog created. So this wasn't there before. And we just call it swamp green, right? And it's a really,
those are
bad. You got a swamp green. Yeah. Yep. I really like it. It's never really taken off, but for me, I mean, I like it. So those are our colorways on the buckles, the Austria Alpine buckles that you can get with the Sherpa belt. That was my only little plug I kind of wanted to throw in there, John. What do you got for us?
You want to go to comments?
Well, yeah, we're pretty caught up. Learn me something's chiming in. Great work. And he loves the swamp green. Yeah, I wish everybody else felt that same way. I really do like it.
Gene, it looks great on multi-cam black.
What's that?
It looks great on multi-cam black. That's what my belt is.
Well, so that's why we did the ghost camo, we were calling it, which I was selling over for Jack at Black Scout. And that was just like a Ranger green with black islands to kind of match the swamp green or to match the multi-cam black. Personally, that I like that just so much better. I just think that is the cat's meow. And then last but not least, there's always just the standard anodized black. You can see that that's the standard color it comes in. So
hey, while you got that up there, for those that buy a Sherpa belt, don't do the Marine thing and spend an hour and a half putting all your shit on there and then have the emblem point upside down. My fingers were freaking numb. I had to pull it all apart and flip my belt around because I had the emblem upside down. And since I'm OCD, I'm like, I'm not leaving it like that. And to your point about weaving stuff in, a lot of the stuff I would slide through. And then if there were extra molly on it, like I can't remember what I had, but I was able to do both. I slid it in and was able to molly it through. So that thing, there is no way that thing is, getting ripped off when you're running through the woods. And then real quick, do not throw your freaking hanging tags away. So this belt loop, it's going to slide all over the place, right? But if you see here, I have shot cord right there connecting it to the last loop this is the last loop of the Scout bottle carrier. And then this is my belt loop. Otherwise, it's going to be sliding from here and it'll work its way down all the way behind the G3 roll. And then I'm going to be crapping in the woods looking for it, going, where the hell's it at? Right? So do not throw these hanging tags away. And then I never had an issue with that little lock rubbing against me or anything like that. So
well, and then again, you can figure it out, but the shock.
This is the best idea Mark's ever come up with.
Yeah. Well, it's
the best. The shock cord. I mean, those are free. They're in every package you send. These should be on every knife you own, right?
Well, any device that like that, a flashlight or whatever, where you want to a chem light. It's such a great and easy technique to trap the item to make a dummy cord out of it. And, like what you just did with the belt pouch, you could run it from the molly on the back up to one of the molly channels on the belt, and then secure it in place that way. And, and it's, no tying. I mean, you can tie it if you want, but it's a very versatile system. And
I prefer molly and everything through the Sherpa belt, because then that's where it goes. A place for everything in place. That's what I teach my boys. There's no sliding around because it's mollied. It's hard to tell, but you can see it's mollied into that belt, right? Same thing with the medical deployment pouch, which that's a whole nother live right there.
Yeah, and I still have the other one I have to put out. I did put the I thought I did the med pouch, the belt pouch one is what I posted. I think I still have to do your ruck, or maybe I have them backwards, but we'll post that soon. But just on that note, I guess why we're doing this, spring is in the air. Matter of fact, I think later this week is the first day of spring, officially the 21st. So depending on where you live, some people it's 60s, 80s already. Here still kind of cold, but I think I don't want to say anything. Better knock on wood. Don't want to jinx us here. It's quite possible we could still get a foot or two of snow anytime soon. So I got to be careful. But you got spring showing up. Getting out there and looking for sheds. If you're an antler hunter, or if you're getting ready. Some places, some of your hunting seasons are coming up. Fishing, whether it's lake or inland. Know your own regs. Getting out there and working your property. Before it gets too hot and doing trail maintenance, whatever. Again, the Sherpa Belt. Matter of fact, I screwed up. Here, tell a quick story, and then I'm going to find this picture. This is what I wanted to use for the thumbnail. Well, okay, there's a different picture I wanted to use for the thumbnail, but Questview isn't here, so I can't show that picture without his permission. But I really like that picture for the thumbnail. I'm not going to lie. But I'll show you my picture that I was going to use for the thumbnail.
All right, so Anthony, and you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this.
So hang on. So here we go. We'll come back to Anthony. But so they're just to the point. They got the studio lights, but like that's me on my property, and I've got you can see I've got my Sherpa belt on. Yeah, the guys are in the chat blowing it up. There's some crap going on in the chat right now, but I've got a Y harness on. I never go in the woods without, a handgun.
That African spear.
That's a cold steel spear, which is a great walking stick. And oh my God, that thing is for real, right? That's real. But so that's what I was going to use as the thumbnail. But so all I'm trying to say there is I really like the system. I mean, I use mine all the time. It's not like you're using it every day, but maybe you are if you're going out in the woods. So I would just throw it out there, consider it. I mean, I think you got to have a good, durable outside belt. And, and if you looked at the thumbnail, I'm holding the belt up and it's got a fully loaded handgun and a trail hawk on it. And I'm doing that. And I'm actually holding it up so you can see it's not bending. It's not caving. It's 2 layers of type 13 nylon around one layer of 500575 scuba webbing. It's got really good north-south rigidity, but it's really comfortable on the east-west around your waist, especially, for Gene.
And that's coming from a guy that wears suspenders 90% of the time because I hate belts, because I got a disease called no acetol. But this is like when I'm concealed carrying, this is the belt that I wear. Mark, is this different? Is that different? That buckle?
Yeah, that's the ghost camo that we yep, that's the ghost camo version. Yep.
Okay. That's the belt that I carry when I carry. So but Anthony was talking about multicam black. I thought I had but great buckles, the Cerakote on them, Blackbeard who's Blake. Blake does a great job on them, right? That's who does
Blake out there at Fog Firearms, Blake and Patrick. Hey, so we're going to wrap it up here, give you a second to kind of collect your thoughts. I'm going to do final comments, and then let's come back to you for closing comments. Learn me something, as you're saying. That's what he wants to do with the swamp green buckle with multicam black. I agree. I think that looks really good. That's over on our 1.75 belts. Then we got Gene saying spear. Love it. Man, such an underrated platform. I'm just here to tell you. I mean, then VTech. Hey, VTech, nice to see you over here too. That spear looks like a great way to have the trail to yourself. I got to get one. They don't throw very well because it's a very heavy, it's cold steel. But close range throwing or thrusting. And seriously, I have practiced with all that stuff. And there is no doubt about it. That is actually designed to kill things. And what was medieval warfare like? Like getting run through with that thing would just not be fun. I mean, hopefully you'd just be dead immediately, but it's going to make a very big hole. It's super sharp. And, even if my philosophy is like, Hey, unless you grow fangs, unless you can run faster than predators or outfight a predator, you better have a tool to even things up. And, people say predator, like, what do you do? Fight a grizzly bear? Well, preferably not. But like I had a 6-point buck once out in the woods, and it just kept advancing on me. And I was just like, hey, just like you would a bear. And it just kept coming on me. I drew my handgun. I was like, dude, I cannot beat a 6-point, deer. I mean, like, this is a 300-pound deer, 200-pound deer, whatever it is, non-dressed, and it's designed for this stuff. You have to have a tool to even it up, and to VTech's point. Yeah. And then maybe everybody will just give you a wide berth, on the trail when you're out walking, they're like, I don't want to be around that guy. And then VTech just added, and you need it for horseback. You're damn right. Like put it up underneath your elbow, or your armpit. Yeah, you need it for horseback.
Unless you're in Gotham City, like learn me something. Don't buy one. Learn me something. You get sent to jail. But they got no cash bail there, right?
Yeah, well, that's right. They would just release you anyway. Like, oh, go ahead. Oh, you raped 3 little kids. Yeah, you're released. And then Gene, I'm not sure. I would have Gimli at anything nasty like a bear or a predator. I don't know if he's saying he'd throw you at a bear or a predator. I'm not sure.
You're gonna have to toss me.
Toss me. There, that's probably what he's doing.
You have to toss me. I cannot jump the distance. You have to toss me.
Yeah, there he just chimed in with throw, but toss me is way better. Toss me. I should have had that clip ready to play at the end. Hey, give us a quick outro, and I'll see if I can find that real quick.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please comment after the video with any questions. I check them into them periodically. I will put all the clowns back in the clown car and get you guys a weight. I'm trying to think if there's, dude, there's so much gear that you can put into this stuff, and it's balanced. Remember, just like what I said about the ruck, the belt's the same way. So you're going to have to balance it. If you're going to carry a water bottle on one side, all your other heavy stuff goes on the other.
Yeah.
And then the light stuff's in the back. I had a lot of fun building this kit out. Again, when I take my dogs out, the dogs run 10 to 12 miles and I usually walk 3. I think I took them out a half a dozen times. I think I have about 15 miles on this. Everything looks brand new. I didn't have any issues. And what I liked about it is I'm bundled up. I got the Sherpa Belt hanging low. Everything's balanced. If my back starts hurting a little bit because I got a couple rabbits hanging off the back of the G3, well, then I shorten the shoulder straps, and then I tighten it up around my waist so it's actually sitting on my belly button. And then it gives my lower back a little bit of a break, and then I'm feeling a little bit more on my shoulders and my waist, right? And then because, here's the reality. When you're rabbit hunting, them dogs are chasing that rabbit for miles in a circle until you see the rabbit, and then you take out the rabbit. So sometimes you're standing around for a half an hour, 45 minutes, and anybody who's in the military knows that you stand at attention and you don't move a muscle for a half an hour, your back starts to freaking hurt. And that's standing on solid concrete. Imagine if you're standing on uneven ground in the mud or whatever. So that's another nice advantage to the whole system is that you can, it moves with you. You can adjust on the fly, So, and like I said, the intent was to replace my heavy briar coat, because here's the reality. I feed those dogs all year round, so I don't have to take my fat ass into those briars and be part beagle. I feed them to flush the damn thing out so I can shoot it, right? So 10 years ago, I'd be in the brush with them. Not no more, because it hurts too much the next day.
That's called wisdom right there. You're getting older. All right. Hey, we're a little over an hour. Definitely appreciate it. Gene just gave a big, thanks guys. You never fail to amaze me. He loves the loadout. So really everybody, again, hats off to John. Thanks for, he's taking the time away from his family and everything he's got going on. Hey, okay. Now I have made a point and I got to do 2 things. So I have, for the guys coming on the loadout lives, I'm doing the thing with bag of cheese, and I forgot to have the can here, but John, I know you got it. Have you opened it and tried it at all?
I haven't gotten it yet. I think they're coming.
Oh, you didn't arrive yet?
No, nothing yet. I think the 20th is when everything's supposed to ship.
Well, okay, you'll get it. Right. So John's already got some bag of cheese going, coming his way, but I really have to get better at this. And Steve, you know who you are, and I apologize. I just got to do this more often. So I'm going to end it with dad jokes. And Steve is his name. He's just been cracking me up. I hope you guys think it's funny. A matter of fact, I got to do like 2 or 3 jokes an episode now because I got a lot of them. So here we go. We're ending it on this. If you get lost in the woods, find a possum and follow it. Before long, you will be in the middle of a road. Okay. That's where you always see a possum, right? Oh no, I just found out that the company that makes yardsticks won't be making them any longer.
I don't get that one.
If they're only going to make it a yard, they're not going to make them any longer.
Oh,
see, these are horrible jokes, but I love them. So
where's
Steve,
my crayon at?
Yeah, keep coming. And then here's where I'm going to end it on tonight. A couple of crows were smoked. Oh, maybe I got to read this first. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I guess I didn't know if I was about to say something that I couldn't say, but a couple of crows were smoking a joint and playing cards. That's right. The stakes were high. Dad jokes, Steve. I love them. Keep them coming. All right, boys and girls, hats off to John, aka the Accessorizer, aka Gimli, taking the time to be here with us tonight. Hope you guys are all having fun on St. Patty's Day or whatever the weekend. Thursday, CLS After Dark, we're going to talk about the light fighter. And actually, I didn't even plan it this way. Having the Y harness and the Sherpa belt and talking about deuce gear, that's going to be part of kind of our conversation about the light fighter concept of, what you're wearing, what you're carrying, and, how you're going about your day. We're going to have 2 really good guests on for that for Thursday night. Hope to see you there. My good man, any final comments?
Nope. Thanks for having me on, man. God bless everybody.
Yeah. And thanks for everybody coming on and leaving comments, making comments. Hope you enjoyed the show. You know the deal. If you got questions, reach out. I'll do the best I can. I love talking to you guys. Reached out to a bunch of people about their orders today. So don't be afraid to reach out to me. I will just say this though. If you send me a text or something, please just tell me who you are. I mean, I know I'm bald and my beard is awesome. And some people have made references to Gandalf, which I am not. But I am not clairvoyant. So, you got to help me help you. Like, okay, who am I talking to? Hey, what's the status of my order? And I'm like, do you have an order number or a name? I mean, help me out, man. Hey, computer, and if you didn't enter your phone number, I know this sounds stupid, but if you entered your phone number a different way on the website, I'll never find out, even if I type in your telephone number. It's got to be exact, right? It's a search thing. So anyway, but if you got questions, reach out. I'll do the best I can to help you out. Until then, and Gene, get him going. All right, everybody, and Learn Me Something just said, great seeing you, John. So thanks for coming on, brother. Really appreciate it. But all right, Gene, get him going. All right, everybody, keep thinking, keep moving, never quit. We'll see you again on the next one. All right, everybody, be good. Woo!